I'm the
video.
apparently I'm the expert on copyright strikes.
Well, I think that's what we call opening the door, Kurt.
Well, hello, girl. How you doing?
Is that dating video bullshit? When someone did a compilation of me looking
all right,
now
I'm going to
is this
put
the unreleased uncivil law dating video where someone did some compilation of me, a bunch of videos make me look bad, look like an ass. One of my least favorite things of all time, man.
I'm gonna this is what I'm gonna screen it. I'm gonna try and
if you
type
play this thing on your channel, I will never talk to you again.
And Akilah Hughes sued Carl Benjamin for copyright infringement. A district court has ruled on the merits of copyright can easily assess whether a losing party advanced an unreasonable claim or defense. Tellingly, the complaint describes Benjamin's video as an effort to mock and discredit Hughes. Two strong indicators that the work constituted fair use. Yeah, so that was a clue in her own original complaint. In her own original complaint, she wrote that this was mocking me. This was mocking me, and this was making fun of me. In her own original complaint, she said, this is attempting to mock me. This is attempting to discredit me. And the court is like, sounds like fair use to me, man. Sounds like fair use to me.
I will simply note that I've seen some commentary on the issue, and I will take note that there are two different things in play in terms of the analysis. There's sort of the culture of the thing, and there's the law of the thing. All that matters is the original videos from Akilah and what Sargon did. Like, there's nothing else. There's no other evidence that matters. Particularly because copyright is strict liability. What other evidence is there? Why do we need to depose anyone and ask them any questions? What does it matter? We have all the evidence that matters. There's nothing more, right? So why not save ourselves the effort? I will also point out on the law of the thing that fair use is not a bright line test. So you can't really say, I did this thing, therefore it is fair use, or not. The fair use under section 17, and we can talk about it in detail if you want. Under 17 USC 107, it's a multi-factor test, and it's a multi-factor weighing test about what is and is not fair use. And so there's no like one thing you can say, oh, this is fair use or this isn't fair use. It's a multi-factor test, and obviously people will disagree about it because it's a multi-factor test. You know, for some reason, a judge from the next highest level up the chain is deciding this. He has come down the totem pole from the Court of Appeals and is deciding this as the trial judge. So you would expect that to speak with a little bit more authority than it normally would. You know, if this was a decision being decided by your run-of-the-mill district judge, that's one thing. But this is being decided by a circuit judge. So you would imagine it carries a little bit more gravitas, a little bit more oomph. Now, somewhat critically to the fair use analysis, he did not do anything else to the video. He merely took portions of her video and spliced them together. He didn't provide any other commentary or any sort of other video or any sort of other audio. It was her work in total, not the entirety of it, but all of it was hers. So he cut up portions of it and made a video about it. The court ruled that his use was so clearly fair use that what she did essentially amounted to copyright misuse, copyright abuse. And as a result, she would have to pay his attorney's fees. Often we would go forward to the next step of discovery. But when we're talking about free speech and we're talking about people exercising free speech when it relates to opinion and fees, right? When we're talking about people's fees being hurt, we're concerned about that because discovery is so expensive. That's what we're concerned about. We're concerned about people using copyright law as a muzzle to freedom of speech.
Oh, right of reply is recording my stream and uploading clips? Well, that kind of sucks. A party is improperly motivated when asserts claims not based on the inherent merit, but rather because the party seeks to knowingly gamble on an unknown legal theory in order to achieve a secondary gain. Since plaintiffs have no inherent merit, the only rational motivations are improper ones. The plaintiff here knowingly sought at least 3 improper secondary gains. Intent to silence criticism, sought through the improper use of copyright to silence critical speech. She falsely claimed to YouTube that Sargon's critical video of her infringed copyright. As a result, YouTube disabled public access to the video. This is plainly contrary to the copyright's goal of ensuring access to critical works.
Yeah, let's take him down.
All the things that she said around and following the lawsuit were definitely very clear of that. I don't know that it's necessarily clear on the face of the pleadings. I wouldn't go that far, but I would definitely say, with respect to her many, many tweets and social media things, that her motive became much more apparent, which is also a good reason that you want to be careful at best about communicating about ongoing lawsuits for these reasons. Yes.
Hughes prominently referred to her lawsuit by opening her big mouth. For instance, on December the 8th, 2016, Hughes tweeted that she had a Christmas present on the way for Benjamin, referring to the lawsuit. On October 28th, Hughes tweeted that she was currently suing Benjamin, white supremacist ass, for stealing her content. 2 months later, Hughes referred to Benjamin in a tweet as a carnival barker and expressed a desire to convince the crowdfunding platform GoFundMe to terminate Benjamin's campaign to fund his legal costs for this action and to bankrupt him with a libel suit, which sounds suspiciously like we're using this suit as a harassment technique rather than as for its legitimate purposes. It sounds suspiciously like we might be using this lawsuit as a mechanism to harass rather than really to justify whatever legal rights we think we have. Maybe that's a thing that these tweets could suggest to a reasonable observer. Maybe that's a problem. Maybe she shouldn't have opened her mouth. Maybe that was a bad idea. Benjamin immediately emailed Hughes and requested she withdraw the takedown notice, asserting his video fell within the fair use exception to the Copyright Act as parody or satire. 3 days later, after Hughes refused to withdraw, Benjamin sent YouTube a DMCA counter notification asserting that SJ levels of awareness was entirely transformative and intended for parody. Thereafter, YouTube reinstated public access to the Benjamin video, which is exactly what YouTube is supposed to do. Not that they always do it, but it's what they're supposed to do. So if someone sends them a notice, they're supposed to take it down. If someone sends a counter notice, they're supposed to put it back up. And then your only remedy is to go to court and fight about it. So then they went to court and filed about it. So YouTube was doing exactly what they're supposed to do under the DMCA. So anyway, I would have been a little bit more charitable to Akilah in the earlier decisions. But when she opened her mouth and she showed her true motivations in clear and open daylight, well, you can't fault me for taking notice of you saying, here are my motives. I am the villain. Watch me twist my mustache. You can't then do that and then be surprised with your surprised Pikachu face when I then take notice of it. In short, Hughes endeavored to profit from an objectively unreasonable and frivolous lawsuit, and frivolous is one of those words that makes every attorney pop up and pay attention, because frivolous is just about one of the worst things you can say. It is like you were nowhere near anything resembling a legal argument. Frivolous is pretty insulting. That's one of those words that really makes you pop up and pay attention. I've never had anyone write that at me. But, you know, if it ever happens, it's like, yeah, that would make you pop up and pay attention. And frivolous. Plaintiff has faced widespread public criticism as a result of losing her lawsuit. Well, you know, people have a right to comment and critique. As you have learned, one of the essential purposes of the Copyright Act, and more to the point, one of the essential purposes of the First Amendment, which I know you're British, right? No, you're American. Sorry. Sargon is British. You're American, so you should know better. One of the essential points of the First Amendment is criticism and critique. So you filed a stupid lawsuit, and people have been analyzing that you filed a stupid lawsuit, and you were warned about the stupidity, and you kept going, which is stupid. I mean, stupidity after being warned explicitly by a judge, you know, it's notable. We might have some comments regarding this. So you entered the public arena, you got smacked down hard, and you have been mocked for it.
which, you know, is basically exactly what you were trying to do. So, you know, she's on the other end of the paddle, as it were. She's on the other end of the paddle. She started swinging. So now she's gotten spanked by it, and it hurts. How sad can I possibly be? You know, not that sad is the answer to that question.